What's up, guys? I'm gonna go through a little quick deck tech with you. I couldn't get good footage in the about 2 hours that I was trying to. The rest of the day I gotta work on this project. But I think I'm going to do a deck tech. So I've been brewing a lot. I brewed up that mono blue Tron list, and I brewed up a trinkets list that I've been working on, but currently what I'm trying to do is figure out a really good auras build that I like to play, and I'm getting close, but crap, it's missing something. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 21 lands. Alright. So, sorry about that. Pretty much I'm playing green-white auras list with the Heliod's Pilgrim as a little tutor package with, I'm not playing a fourth one in this side anymore. With little tutor package in Heliod's Pilgrim, it gives me an extra creature for the black matchups, and it's just really good. So this deck is, all in all, I would say a tempo deck as I've built it. It works on getting an early advantage by playing, let's say, a Glade Cover Scout with a Hyena Umbra, making a 2/2 on, or even like a Hyena Umbra and a Rancor, making like a 4/2 on 2 is really good. And you're pretty much trying to end the game as fast as possible. You're pretty much doing what Delver's doing, but you can do it better against any matchup that's not black. So, what I liked, or my take on the deck, is that I like to play a lot of these Enchantland cantrip cards, like Abundant Growth and Elia's Presence, because it gives it that Delver-esque feel. Like, these are my Ponders, my Preordains. I'm only playing 7 because they're not all 1-drops, so I cut one of the 2-drops to add an additional 3-drop to my deck, kind of give it a little more meat, a little more punching power. I think ultimately I'm going to cut this Hyena Umbra to put Elia's Presence in the main, because it's been underperforming just since I've been playing a lot of mono black. And all my guys have hexproof, so there's no reason to have the Umbras except for on your Pilgrim. And I think 6 to 3 is going to be a pretty good totem armor ratio for not aura or not hexproof creatures. So yeah, I like playing the sort of Delver-esque tempo build is how I view this deck. I love Rancor because it is a card that never gets 2 for 1 unless, you know, unless, yeah, they were to like bounce your creature on the targeting, so it'd counter on this stack and go straight to the graveyard. Other than that, they could leave no trace, back to nature. I don't know if that's a common. I think that's only an uncommon. I'm just thinking of it because of M15. They could do pretty much anything they want once it's resolved, as long as they don't exile it, and it comes back to my hand, so I don't lose a lot of cards because of that. I also am playing the Snake Umbra, which whenever you hit an opponent, you draw a card, just so hopefully I get like 2 hits in on an opponent before my Snake Umbra goes away, so at least I can gain some sort of, not leverage, but advantage over that. Like, even if it was just like drew another Ethereal Armor and put like 3 extra points in his face. I love the deck. It's really been performing well. The Heliod's Pilgrims work really well because it's essentially a 4-drop. That's why I kind of dragged it out here, because most of the time, if your mana's off, you can grab like an Abundant Growth. It just depends on what you're playing against. Like against mono black that has duresses and stuff, if I have like an Ethereal Armor or Hyena Umbra or Cloak in my hand, but I don't have a land, I'll grab, or if I don't have a land or a color, I'll grab like an Abundant Growth so I can play it. I usually don't have a lot of problems with color, but there are those situations where you do, and you know, it's unfortunate, but it hasn't really caused me a game loss yet. The Armadillo Cloaks in the main are really good against any of the aggro Delver-esque lists. I haven't even seen Curfew or anything come out of a Delver sideboard so far. I was thinking about changing this to a Bant list, maybe, but I don't think I could facilitate that unless I had more mana fixing like this. So it'd really cut down on what I'm trying to do. And the only reason I was going to do that was for like Ophidianite to draw extra cards, just because like the modern list is playing Snake Umbra and Keen Sense to help draw cards, and I know it's going to be really important to draw all those extra cards, but at the same time I think just being faster will make it better versus trying to be a little more mid-rangey and a little more a little slower, a little more resilient. The only person you really can equip Snake Umbra onto and connect every time with it being your only aura is Solana Ledgewalker, which is a hexproof guy that can only be blocked by creatures with flying. So pretty much has flying but can't block flyers, which is fine. That's not a big deal. We don't block a lot. So pretty much post-board against some matchups is against the mono black matchup. I always cut pretty much all 4 Hyena Umbras and I think a Snake Umbra. I cut, or maybe it was a land, it depends on, if you're on the draw you cut a land, if you're on the play I cut a Snake Umbra because you have the Pilgrims. I bring in 4 Young Wolves and I call that good, because they'll Chain Edict you, you'll sack your Young Wolf, or they'll just kill your Young Wolf if it comes back. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is strictly here to put an extra body on the board, an extra body in your deck, so you go up to, you know, 19 creatures, and most of the time you can draw enough creatures that you can just overpower them with your dudes before they can actually kill the guy that's enchanted. I've been playing a lot against mono black, but I actually only just put Young Wolves in, I want to say like 2 or 3 days ago, and I haven't had the chance to play a whole lot against mono black yet. My buddy hasn't been getting online, who plays primarily mono black, but it seems really good in theory. I put in Fogs on my sideboard because the Eye Candy list, or the Blue-Red Delver with the Kiln Fiends and Nivik Cyclops, is really huge. I've played against that quite a bit, and just having a card to where you can just go, okay, I don't lose this turn, maybe hit smash in with an Armadillo Cloak and gain some life, really helps stabilize that matchup and make it a lot easier, because they can't kill any of your guys anyways. Lone Missionary was for burn, and so was Armadillo Cloak. I don't know if that's overdoing it or not. Usually in the burn matchup, I cut the Heliod, or not Heliod's Pilgrim, I cut the Ledgewalkers and I put in the Lone Missionary strictly, you know, because I don't care if my dude dies, they can't really interact with any of my hexproof guys once they're out, unless they have, like, I don't know, Electrickery, and I don't have an aura on my guy. And I usually bring in my next Armadillo Cloak, and that matchup becomes easy. Like, the main reason to play this list right now is because it's so good. In a world full of Treasure Cruise and Pauper, most decks are playing a lot of cantrips, and they're playing very threat light and very answer light. It's like, you look at a Delver list and it's like 4 Brainstorms, 4 Ponders, some number of Preordains, usually like 10 of these 1-mana cantrips, and 4 Treasure Cruises, and that's 14 cards in their deck that does essentially nothing but find, you know, their threats and stuff. So they're kind of losing a lot, because yeah, they're finding all the cards they need early, but you know, if you draw a card that lets you draw another card, wouldn't it have been better to just draw a card that's actually an answer? Because, you know, out of your, what, 40 spells, a little less than half the time you're going to be drawing a card that draws another card. I don't know. That's the whole reason why I made that illusions list. I figured something that could play a bunch of answers that go to the graveyard really easily and can be exiled with treasure cruise seemed like a really good list and where I'd want to be at. Plus you can play the 1/5 Dreamstalker, the 1/3 Fathom Seer, and the XX Kovakian Mist, and like you can make your mists 12/12 if you have all 4 of each of those out. I mean, you can make them bigger because you're playing like 24 creatures, but anyways, yeah, the list has been performing really well. The only problem I'm having with it is like I can't use uncommons because I would love to have Keen Sense in the deck because it would replace Hyena Umbra, and that would take this deck to the next level. This deck would be insane. I probably wouldn't lose a single game because even against the black matchups, as long as I go like Boggle, Keen Sense Boggle, and I attack for 1 draw card, from that just 1 card I've drawn, hopefully I can draw like another Boggle or something that could just make me stabilize. Like even another Keen Sense, like Keen Sense, draw 2 cards, play another Boggle or Gladecover Scout, and just create an unsurmountable amount of card advantage in tempo. What I've been doing here recently is I've been looking for like the biggest way to gain tempo and time advantage in every format. Like tempo has been really huge here recently. I've been reading tons of articles about it, and I love the idea of creating, you know, the next Delver list, that list that's unbeatable, and creating a huge time advantage while generating card advantage, and not even just in Pauper, but even in like Standard. I've been playing Tom Ross's list. I've been working on optimizing it and playing it just all the time, and I just really enjoy playing these tempo lists, and they're just awesome. If there's a list that you should really practice with a lot and really become well versed in, I would suggest being like one of these tempo-esque lists. Like grab Blue Delver, which is probably the best deck right now, or grab, you know, yourself a green-white aura list where you have 1 weakness, which is mono black control, which is like 10% of the field, but it's not unwinnable, and if you manage to beat it, you'll probably not play it again. You'll probably play a lot of Delver, and you'll just be able to crush the field with it. Like, the list is awesome, and I would definitely suggest trying it out. I appreciate that you guys watched this video. You know, if you can give me a thumbs up or something, just, you know, support my channel a little bit. I could probably try to make more videos, because right now I'm trying to work and do college and all that stuff, so anything you guys can do to help, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.